Hello, everyone. My name is Karuana Gatimu. I'm the principal manager of the customer advocacy group for Microsoft 365 and Copilot. I'm so excited to be with you here today in this tech accelerator. We've heard some amazing experts, and there's many more who are going to empower you to really get the most advantage out of this transformative service. But I'm here to talk to you about the human side of change. You know, those pesky humans that are all in your office that you need to really support as we go through this AI transformation. My team and I have been working tirelessly, and the information that you're going to see today is representative not only of our 25 years of experience in doing service adoption, but all of the research and feedback that we got from early adopters of our AI services. So, this is field tested information and it's brand new just for you. So let's hop into some slides so I can guide you through this user enablement journey for Copilot for Microsoft 365. So let's take a look at these three main pillars of becoming AI powered. There's a leadership journey, there's the human change, and there's technical skills. Throughout this tech accelerator, you'll learn about all three. But of course, I'm going to talk to you here today about the human change. This is about investing in the employee experience and improving your culture along the way. To do that, though, you need trust. Your employees have to understand that this experience that you're sharing with them, the Copilot capabilities, are really there for their benefit. Everyone's been through a failed technology project in their professional career, and they may have trust issues. So it's our job as user enablement specialists to rebuild that trust and create a safe environment where people can learn. That means we have to authentically integrate feedback into this process. Now, none of this works if we don't build everything we do on the responsible AI principles. And whether you're a leader of a large organization, a small to medium business, a division, or even a team, it's important for you to take a moment to understand those responsible AI principles. We have a fantastic website that's about that, and many articles and pieces of information, including research, that help you understand why we at Microsoft believe trust is essential in this era of AI transformation. What's new about our approach is the fact that many of us in user enablement, and you'll notice I'm using that term, not the word adoption, which I'll get to in a moment. User enablement folks, we know that we are a sister work stream to technical skilling, but not everybody else does. Oftentimes, I'll see customers who've invested so much time and energy in their technical readiness work stream, but they haven't really thought about the user experience. They haven't provided a variety of ways that people can learn from each other, share information, or resolve issues as they come along. Consequently, their deployments become stuck and they are left wondering, why aren't I getting more from this investment I've made? There are three key things that you want to do as you step into this area to make sure that you're set up for success. You need the right sponsors, you have to understand your scenarios, and of course, address security concerns. But this slide here shows you the fact that these are two work streams that have shared milestones and moments along the way to launch, deployment, and further optimization. As you think about these essentials, a sponsor is not just somebody who approves the purchase of Copilot. A sponsor is somebody who is going to be active, make sure that the information and the sharing of knowledge around why the company is investing in this technology is clear, and have consistent activity with you, your team, and employees. They're really a spokesperson for your user enablement project. Those folks, as well as the potential that you have to create an AI council, can help you identify scenarios that will increase productivity and unleash creativity across your organization. And that will set your users up for making sure they're building the right skills at the right time. And of course, none of this happens again without making sure that you've invested in proper Microsoft 365 tenant governance, administration, and security and privacy reviews. That is very, very fundamental to, again, building trust with your users. I want to talk a little bit about the user journey because, in my career, I've had the pleasure of launching SharePoint Online and Microsoft Teams and many, many other different types of technology projects, driving that human side of change as well as architecting solutions. And what I know for sure is that we don't often think enough about the actual questions our users are asking. This is why in all of the new content that you see for Copilot adoption and actually across Microsoft 365 over the course of the next year, you'll see that we're not talking about adoption. We're actually talking about user enablement because enabling people allows you to drive for satisfaction. Adoption has historically been measured on the counts and amounts of who's using what. But that's not the real element or sentiment that you want to understand about your employee experience. This diagram here shows a bit of the different questions that people have at their different stages of onboarding to Copilot, or frankly, any technology. But it's especially true here. What we need here is to drive a personal journey to an aha moment for that individual user, no matter who you are, an executive, an IT professional, a business user, someone out in the field. You need to have your own personal aha moment where you understand how this new natural language interface can actually help you, can really act as your co-pilot. First off, we have to overcome the issue of why should anybody care, right? We have to have a clear conversation about that in the context of the user's reality. The hype, if you will, around AI capabilities is loud and large, including for Microsoft. But that won't answer that question for that individual person about why they should care and give you their time. You have to address these issues of how they'll use it, when can they use it, and how do they get help. When they have an issue, one of the most important things you can do is provide that peer learning, community at scale environment. This is a huge differentiator in the successful adoption of AI and the cultural transformation that comes with it in our customers that we've seen. Whether you're using Viva Engage or you're using Microsoft Teams or something else, bringing people together as they're going through this journey is very important because they will always learn from someone they know more than from an official trainer or someone from Microsoft or maybe a Microsoft partner you've engaged to help. Now, if you're lucky, you'll get them past those initial aha moments, and we'll show you a few tips on how to do that, and they'll want to know how to learn more. That's why you need to have our training resources and other capabilities available so they can continue on the journey. In a great world, then they're thinking about what comes next. How do I continue this journey? How do I use this technology to expand my career, as many of us in user enablement have? So think about this journey and the unarticulated questions that your users and potentially stakeholders and leaders are asking as you take them through this. Now, I want to pause here for a moment and make sure that you understand that you're not in this alone. We have so many resources for you to help you along this journey, and we're refreshing them on a regular basis. I want you to bookmark right now adoption.microsoft.com/Copilot. We've aggregated information from across Microsoft Learn, support.microsoft.com, from our partners, downloadable materials, news announcements, and more in one Copilot hub to make it simple for you, no matter who you are or what size your organization, to find tools and materials that will help you on this journey. We're about to do a huge launch of refined materials from which this deck is coming on March 6th. And you will get new and more prescriptive guidance, updated scenario library, making sure that you have access to some other key items which are available today. Of course, our responsible AI principles, as I've mentioned, really understanding what those mean will help you as you think about creating your own AI council in your organization. I encourage you to read the white paper I wrote on becoming AI powered. This project, more than anything you've ever done in your career, is about trust. And approaching it that way and actioning your empathy for the users in your environment will put you in good stead for the future. I mentioned the persona kit, which we're evolving into our scenario library. There's a great user onboarding kit there with templated emails and messaging that you can use to launch Copilot, and the all-important user experience strategy template, which, by the way, you can use Copilot to help you write. So bookmark that, and that will be your place to find more information. And of course, on our Microsoft Tech community, we have a community specifically for Copilot where you're probably watching this event here on LinkedIn or YouTube, but you can always follow up with questions. So you are not alone in this process. I'm going to dive deeper into the implementation summary slide and then go into some details around how we look at approaching this. Many of these steps will seem very familiar to all of you. Those of you who've done user enablement or adoption projects in the past or done technical readiness. There's a good set of folks who are in the user enablement area professionally who have a technical background, and then some who have a background in organizational psychology, formal change management. Both sorts of folks are necessary. I have a bit of both actually, and it serves me well as I approach projects like this to also make sure that I'm well connected with my IT team. I started my career inside Microsoft in Microsoft IT and building those relationships between the technical administration folks, people actively managing licensing and policy and governance decisions and automation, and the folks who are on the front lines supporting users as they go through the journey. That's where leadership really gets the secret sauce to technology enablement. In each pillar that we have here in our implementation overview, we have assets and resources that will help you along the way, but there are essentially four main stages of what we're doing. I'm going to click over here and deep dive into this deeper slide. You are here right now, you're getting ready. So you want to kick off that user enablement work stream, find the right people, make sure you have the proper assembled talent, or get it from Microsoft, because we do have capabilities available to help you. And of course, our broad and wide Microsoft partner community. Then you're moving on to onboarding and engaging. That's after you've selected some scenarios and cohorts of users, and you're really thinking about how you're going to design not only your training strategy, but more importantly, your listening strategy. People tend to talk about the onboarding process and training very intensely, but they often forget that the listening is the other side of that coin, to get the feedback directly from users. If you want to know how your Copilot implementation is going, talk to people. Actually talk to them. Yes, you can send out a survey. You can use tools in Microsoft Viva to do that, or even a Microsoft form. But your best bet is to hold an open roundtable office hours in your community of practice and actually hear what people are saying. That listening will continue to feed in as you deliver impact, as you review your success measures and the Copilot dashboard or usage reporting that we have available to you. That'll allow you to continue people along what we call a progressive skilling journey. Right? People are learning in phases with this new technology. And that's very similar to what we tried to have people do, and were successful to a good extent in Microsoft Teams. First, you went into Teams for chats and meetings. Then you started to use Teams in channels. Then you started to embed apps. So this idea of progressive skilling is pervasive across Microsoft 365, and Copilot is no exception. What is different is these optimization scenarios need to be reviewed by something like an AI council or the shared leadership of your implementation group to understand what is the priority. Because as you move forward into extend and optimize, you'll want to begin thinking about implementing and getting skilled up on Copilot Studio, on extensibility scenarios, on things that are cross-organizational processes that can be improved, enhanced, and expanded with these AI capabilities. So in every pillar, as you look at our new adoption workbook that will launch on March 6th, you'll see a section that shows you those core foundational tasks. User enablement is still dealing with humans and preparing humans for change. And so the things that we've been doing for a very long time, building the right team, identifying scenarios, reviewing Microsoft materials, all of that remains the same. You don't have to rebuild your skills from the ground up, but you will have Copilot specific tactics, right? You need to understand and have your own personal aha moment with Microsoft Copilot so that you can better empathize with the users you are trying to help. I always say, if you want to drive true successful enablement of a service, you need to use it yourself. And that will help guide you in how you guide other people, making sure that you're clear and can articulate clearly the responsible AI principles, not only of Microsoft, but of your own organization. And I want to really call out something here that's important. For many years, we've embraced the idea of small pilots. Sprinkling out a few licenses across an organization and getting some early feedback. I ran many an early adopter program. What we saw in the field when we did this with our customers is that with Copilot, that was not successful. You need a larger group of people, hopefully in the same department, to come together and go through this change so they can share prompts, they can share their experiences, they can build trust and confidence with each other as they're moving to and through their aha moments. This is very important. So we really embrace the strategy of go big. Right, making sure that you have a large group of people to move through those early cohorts, which is also why using something like Microsoft Viva to help with their user enablement, having Viva Engage available there as a community or a Microsoft team is very important because you'll be dealing with larger cohorts than you have in the past. That will allow you to target AI ready scenarios and see value more quickly. And so your implementation won't get stuck. What's also different is the rapid feedback cycles. It used to be that we would put something out in the world, people would use it for a few months or in a quarter, they'd give us a little bit of feedback and we'd iterate. Copilot is not like that. You will get daily feedback on the way people are using prompts and what they need to know and understand and practice as they're building those foundational skills and continuing to progress those over time. As I mentioned, we have a persona library, which is available now that we're expanding and extending into more robust scenarios that you will see very shortly here in the month of March. And that will help you inform your user strategy. Many organizations do not have a written user experience strategy. Don't be that organization. Make sure you take the time, review the template that we've prepared for you. Think about the issues that it raises. Have conversations. It's a living document. You don't write a user experience a strategy once and then leave it. You can continually refer to it and you share with it across your team so that you can enhance and evolve it as new capabilities happen, as you get feedback from users, and as you continue to mature your overall enablement team operations. An enablement project wouldn't be powerful without our champion community. Of course, hopefully many of you know that we have a Microsoft 365 global champion community. We have free monthly calls and talk about these practices for Copilot and all the other great Microsoft 365 services. We hope that you join us there and you can use our content from the Microsoft champion community to run your own internal in your organization. There's a whole conversation also about branding your program so that it feels authentic inside your organization. People call them a variety of things, but a champion is different from a support person. A champion person and support people differ in that champions are motivated by helping people. They're trusted advisors in their teams. Support people are as well, but support people and early adopters are often more focused on the technology itself. And that's why your champions will make the difference as you're going through this process of onboarding and engaging users. As I mentioned before, this is an intelligent progression of employee skills. It's managed, it's guided in the best implementations that we've seen, both in Copilot and across the technology space. You start with those generic skills. You help people have that initial aha moment, and they build trust with the experience. And then they start to think about how can it apply to their individual team. You help them understand departmental skills, for improving processes within their department. And then you go forward with those advanced skills and line of business extensibility that I referred before. This slide here is very important when you're thinking about building those progressive skills. The top 10 things to do with Copilot. These are capabilities that each and every one of us needs to be embracing and learning so that not only do we have our own aha moment, we can guide others. Because this isn't as simple as clicking a menu, right? You are phrasing a prompt in Copilot experiences with your own language. That's the beauty of it. That's the magic that Bobby Kishore was talking about earlier this morning. But at the same time, that means that there are differences in the way that someone will approach this particular list of tasks. However they approach it, we want these foundational skills to be in place for people as they move forward into those departmental skills, level 200 capabilities, writing some fancy prompts and really thinking about how you can improve the scenarios from sales and HR and marketing and field and customer engagement. There's so many opportunities here that we've really never seen before, but it's all built on that confidence and that trust that you have as you onboard to the services overall. This is something that continues to grow over time. But the feedback that you get from the community, the foundational progressive skill building that you do, enhancing your user experience strategy is all discussed on a regular basis in what we call a service health review. For those of you who have followed ITSM or Agile Service Management over time, or anything that I have talked about or written on that particular topic, you will know that the service health review is when you bring IT, user enablement, business stakeholders, and the advocacy moments from your user communities together to really understand how to extend and optimize the service. What's different in this implementation is that your service health reviews, the insights that you gather there from the Copilot dashboard and feedback from your user communities, then are handed back to the AI council that you've created in your organization. That body, that governing body that you create, that has a variety of functions, but one of them is to understand risks and mitigation plans and also understand opportunities for growth. One thing I try to make sure that people understand about this is that, well, there are optimizations and efficiencies to get from AI implementations. The real opportunity is in growth for the business and satisfaction of the user community. Happy employees are more productive. Employees that are deeply engaged with provide untold benefit to an organization. And so the Service Health Review, with insights handed to the AI Council, ensures that this is a continuous improvement process throughout your organization. I know there's going to be other sessions about how to measure the impact of your Copilot investment, so I won't deep dive in this, but we have tools and capabilities, and more guidance is coming about how to set your success measures and KPIs so that you're sure that you're actually getting value from your investment in Copilot. As you think about moving forward, you'll go through these first three pillars, and eventually you will get to explore, expand, and extend, this extend and optimize phase. Now, remember, I said this is a fast feedback cycle. So when I say eventually, I mean maybe in the first 90 days, right? The first 30 days, when you take a big cohort of people through the onboarding process, you will get tremendous feedback that will be full of opportunities for you to improve and continue your organization's AI transformation. You'll go through these processes and use things like Copilot Studio to begin to extend things, and tools like we have in the modern collaboration architecture space and framework to focus on people and their roles and understand how to map out these scenarios in ways that will improve. I want to really leave you with something that I find incredibly important to land with all of you today. User enablement is a life cycle. It is not a moment in time. It is not a training program. It is not a single communication. It is not an email. It's authentic engagement with employees with a goal of improving their experience, right? Bringing that empathy, actioning your empathy in the organization for the experience that people are currently having, understanding their pain points, listening to what they have to say, and then trying to solve their problems with the technology you have at your fingertips, which now is Copilot from Microsoft 365. Right? Investing in that satisfaction of your user community will lead you exponential results. We've seen this time and time again. You can visit our Work Lab site, see the research there for yourself, engage with us in the community, and you'll learn how other people are understanding this. So if you are a user enablement specialist today, I applaud you. You've been doing amazing work, and you're about to have a lot of fun. It's a privilege and an honor to be involved in this process in bringing this to the world. And I am representative of many, many people across Microsoft and in our customer space who are sharing learnings on this. We're going to continue to evolve our approach to this and bring you new information. That's why we think it's so important that you bookmark our resources, the Driving Adoption Tech Community, Microsoft Learn, and primarily that Microsoft Adoption Hub for Copilot, where you can go and find all of this fantastic content. There's amazing content available for you to learn from, not only a tech accelerator like this, but on Microsoft Learn, and more is coming. So you're going to want to leverage that content and that learning. Be in learning mode right now, right? Have this opportunity to learn from your own experience, that of your colleagues, and share that learning with other leaders and people around the globe. We have such an opportunity to improve the experience and grow our businesses together. And I'm just so excited to be here with you. Again, it's a privilege and an honor. I hope to see you out in the community. We will make sure to answer your questions as we especially march towards our March 6th launch date of our new materials, some of which I previewed for you here today. We're always taking your feedback to improve these materials. So join our Worldwide Champions program, which you can find out on the Microsoft Tech community via the Driving Adoption area. And, let's keep the conversation going. We're in this together, and building trust is essential. And to build trust, we have to listen to each other. I think we can all do a little more of that. Thank you so much. Again, I'm Karuana Gatimu with Microsoft. Happy to be with you here today. And I'm excited to see the next sections in this Tech Accelerator. Thank you so much.